All right. Hi, you guys. I'm so glad we can be together tonight to share some things. We're not even halfway through the month, and I feel like we have really been creating a lot of important, helpful things within our team. We always use what Green Compass has to offer, or we try to, but with what we're doing along with what Green Compass does for us, I feel as though and I'm always open, we're always open for suggestions too if anyone ever feels like we need more of this or I need guidance on this. But I feel as though things have been flowing well. We focused the focus last month was pop-ups. It's still the focus this month, but we incorporated a call last week with Lindsay and Jacqueline, and they talked about your why, and I listened to the recap of that. And if you haven't, please listen to it because it is very, very good. And it inspired me, and it just is. And Shelby's going to touch on the why again a little bit but all of this really flows. And so we wanted to create something where we can easily um, manageable, like something manageable to give to create. Like, I feel like everybody is looking, not everybody, but most people are looking for an extra 500 to 1,000. And if we look sometimes too far, I mean, the possibility with this business is massive. I can tell you from experience. People on this call can tell you from experience. Other leaders in Green Compass can tell you. I have a lot I could say about that, but the possibility is there. The resources are there. The product is there. The story is there. The testimonies are there, right? We all know this. And I've been sharing this like this is really easy because the products are easy to share. And every single person, and I know we've shared this multiple times, but it's easy because everyone struggles with stress, some level of stress, and oftentimes sleep. If we just talk about those two things, how far would we get? And that's not even talking about anything else that we know these products work, okay, with. So, I want to start by saying that summer, I talked about this last year and I'm going to talk about it again. And Mindy talked about it a little bit on the family call last night. But summertime can be, it's so busy. It's never not busy, you guys, right? Like we know that like the holidays are busy and this is busy and whatever. It's never not busy. So I want to invite you to take that mindset and figure out a way. Like I was talking to Michelle about this earlier, like find a way. There's always a way, right? But when we have the mindset of it's busy, I'm too busy, blah, 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 then it's like we don't make time for our business. And it's really and maybe that's the case. Like maybe sometimes summer months are slower. Not for me this month. And I shared this, and I'm going to share a little bit about this. And I only say this because I shared this on the call last night. But my PV from compared to last month to this month, right now on this day, compared to this day last month on the 10th, my PV is 75% increase. I mean, I'm like blown away by the interest I've had lately, and I'm doing the only thing I'm doing different is honestly plugging in more, having more conversations, and the pop-up that I did really brought and listen to what I had to share last night because it really was helpful, I feel like. And I gave tips on that. Okay, so my bottom line of this is action is always the answer. If you're stuck, if you're feeling like in a mindset block, like the answer is always to move, right? Move, do the thing, do the one thing. And we're gonna like do some things that are gonna like, I think, put us in the right direction for that. There's again, going back to there's so many things like the growth is here to be had. And again, with a mindset, the only thing stopping us from growing is us. Um, and even looking at painting the nation green with what Green Compass is doing right now, we're really trying to share this with our teams because this is a big deal. Like Green Compass takes the time and the funds because it does cost money. Green Compass takes the time and the money to invest in these events for us. Now we are leading them. Advocates are leading them. Jocelyn's doing one in Houston. I think it's Houston, right? Or is it? I think it's Houston. And then Lindsay Gray and I and Kim Fish and Jess Lawrence and Abby are doing the one in Chicago. Anyway, my point is these things are in place for us to grow, utilize them. And then I have something that we are going to do like on our mapping it out to sort of bring that to fruition. So what if you were to like flip the mindset around the busyness and the chaos and you were like, I'm gonna make June and July, because we're not even halfway through the month. So whether June's been busy already and you're in your head and whatever's happened, it doesn't matter. Like start now and create so much momentum here and now. But what if June and July were your best months ever in your business? And what if you set the stage? And this is why it's so important because if we allow a mindset of it's slow and I don't have the time right now and I can't focus and the kids are out of school and there's this and there's that and whatever, I'm going to tell you right now that your business in the fall isn't going to be what you want it to be. Because we know that in the fall in this industry, when we were with Beachbody, they didn't really have a sale thing happening in the fall, so fall wasn't like a big thing really. But in most industries, it is because of the sales, because of November, because of whatever. So anything we do now is absolutely going to have a direct reflection to how your fall turns out and how your income turns out. And if you are not realizing and believing that you can make $500 to $1,000 very easily in this particular business in Green Compass, you're discounting yourself and you're discounting your mindset and all the things because that is a drop in the bucket compared to what you can actually make here. And 500 to 1,000 is fantastic, but if you want to make more, you can. And you can with exactly what I'm going to share in just a minute. Um, so I want to I actually, I guess now I'm going to turn it over to Shelby and I want her to share a couple things. I asked her, to maybe share a little bit about if you were a newer advocate so we have newer advocates on the call and then we have maybe advocates who are recommitting, relaunching their business. If you were in one of those boats, and Shelby's been with us since almost the very beginning, since pretty much almost when I enrolled. She's one of the OGs. I'm gonna have her share kind of what that looks like and incorporate her why and how important that is.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. Um, so like Tabitha said, we were talking just a little bit about like if I was going to relaunch my business, which if we're being really honest with, myself and everybody here, I could probably stand to relaunch my business this month. Um, so just letting you guys know, even an OG like myself, you can fall into this like very easily where you're just not showing up or you're not doing the things right. But if I was going to relaunch or I was a new advocate, these are some of the things that I would do to get back to, that 500 to $1,000 and then beyond. The number one thing, and I know it's going to sound crazy, but I guarantee you if you think about it, you will realize that I'm probably right. Be using the product. I know when we first start out, we're using it and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And it is so easy to share when you start to feel the results, right? When you start to sleep at night, when your stress levels come down, when you can really, really see and feel all of those benefits. And then as you start to see those, you slowly stop taking them. We don't know why, right? Sometimes we just forget in the morning, and then one morning turns into 3 or 4 or 7, and the next thing you know, you've forgotten to take your product, and your auto ship comes, and you're like, oh my gosh, start taking them again every day. Because when you're taking them and you're really feeling how it feels to be using them, it's so much easier to share. It becomes sharing and not selling. Another thing is be sharing every day. In some way, shape, or form, you need to be sharing every day, but it doesn't necessarily have to be about the product. Share about a product every once in a while. Share about the business if you want to, but share you be you, be yourself, be authentic in everything that you are sharing. Because if not, you become somebody that just blends into the background because you're just ads and you're just kind of spammy, right? Like use social media as your diary is what I like to say. Um, the other thing that I would say is once you start sharing and you start having those conversations and they're more authentic and they start to mean something and you start to, work towards maybe making a sale or a connection or an advocate or whatever it may be, keep a list of who you're talking to and then be sure to follow up with them. There's a bunch of different ways, platforms, even just like notebook and pen to keep track of who you've been talking to. Um, but follow up with them. The fortune is always in the follow up, okay? Um, another thing is start small if you have to. Don't you don't have to open the gates and be running and sending hundreds of messages a day or anything like that, but you have to do something every single day. Maybe that's you're going to commit to one post. Maybe one post a day is too much for you. Maybe it's one post every other day. Whatever it looks like as a challenge for you to kind of step out of that comfort zone and start sharing, start there. Start just outside of there. Push yourself a little bit, and you'd be surprised at how much traction you get the more you start to share authentically and as yourself and in your small little ways that make you unique about who's going to trust you and the people that are going to come to you and what your, client base or your community, because you'll end up with advocates and everything out of that. Who knows what that's going to look like just from starting small and doing one simple task at a time. And that's the other thing with that is you have to commit to that. You have to commit to starting small, right? You have to commit to your one post a day or your three messages a day or whatever that is that looks like for you. And by that, not only do you have to commit to it, you have to stay committed. You have to don't try it for 3 weeks and then decide that, oh, it's not working. It's not, people are not buying from me. Keep sharing. You're going to be absolutely shocked at the people that show up 3 months into your journey of sharing. You're going to be surprised at who comes to you because they've talked to your mom's sisters, aunts, whoever, because you've been sharing for so long that now people are really, really, really starting to believe you and in you and this product, right? Um, so with all of that, I also say plug in, plug into this community because you have so many people that are here and committed to what this company is, what these products are, what we've created and what we can help you create. Lean into the resources that are there for you. Lean into this group, but also lean into like the Green Compass, like advocate circle area and the resources that are online there as well. And with that, I think I'm going to hand it back to Tabitha because she's going to talk about another resource that or we've all been kind of working on and putting together for everybody to really lean in with this month or anybody who's relaunching or new.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you so much. Okay, so I want to I just threw together something that I think that I know can help you get 3 to 5, new customers or orders, okay, and potentially an advocate. Okay. Now, when I give you this, and I want you to have a pen and paper if you can, just because I'm gonna have you guys kind of write this down. Now this, no, I don't nobody has the recipe for the amount of work that it's going to take to create $500 to $1,000. Okay. If I had that, then I would, I don't know what, be magic. But I don't have that exact recipe, right? But your activity, your goals, it's almost like your goals and your income goal versus your activity. Like everybody's is different, but you need to always be looking at as you learn and as you grow and your skill and all the things that you learn. It's like we can always reflect, right, on like, what am I not doing in my business? Where are there gaps? right? There's so many positive notes. I want you to make sure you're celebrating yourself for showing up, for posting, for sharing, for having the conversations. But sometimes, oftentimes, at least a few times a month, it's good for us to kind of look into like, okay, what are we not doing? What I wasn't doing was I wasn't getting in front of people face to face. Now, I know that's not everybody's jam, and we're going to talk about that. But it's really massive what ripple effect can have when you're having conversations on social media, you're posting, you're sharing on stories, and you're finding a way to get in front of people. Do you understand like how much ground you're covering because of that? And the ripple effect from that is huge. So, I want to map out an action plan for today to the end of the week. Okay? Now, I could give you some, and I didn't do this in Chat GPT. Okay, I worked harder, not smarter, because that's how I roll. But Lindsay would have put this in Chat GPT, and she would have had a thing, and I don't know, and it would have been a lot for me. So I was like, all right, because we can come up with a lot of tasks and a lot of things, and sometimes it's too much. And I never want anyone to feel like the tasks that we're asking you to do and that we're saying, hey, this is what will bring you income. I don't want you ever feeling like, oh my gosh, this is too much because then we do nothing. Okay. So this is doable for every single person that is busy or busier. All right. So now with this, we're gonna start like I would love for you to do something tonight. Okay, but it's 8 o'clock Central Time almost, 9 o'clock for some of you. And I understand that like this might be the last thing you do. Okay, so I didn't really start today, but every single day from Tuesday to Sunday. Okay, so I want you to write out like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're gonna do old school like days of the week. All right, and every single day you're gonna talk to three people. So you can just write three by each one. Okay. If you need to elaborate, fine. But if you know what that's going to be, that's good. Um, Now let's see. Let me see if I can do math. Okay. So we have 20 days essentially left in the month because it's the 10th. If we talk to three people for the next 20 days, that's 60 people. 60 different people. Okay. You see where like that's really manageable. Now, if you talk to more, fantastic. That's great. That's just more activity and more investment time into your goals, right? But we want to just keep it simple. Okay. So we're going to talk to three people a day. Now, that could be follow-ups, that could be new invitations. It needs to be a lot of new because we need to bring up new conversations. Okay. Now, I want to know how many of you, and there's no judgment, how many of you are honestly talking to three people every single day? Drop it in the chat if you are. And if you aren't, drop it in the chat. And it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of like, it's that piece of like, okay, where's my gap? Right? Great. And that's great because we have to be honest in saying, I'm not doing this. I wonder why my business isn't growing. I wonder why what X, Y, and Z, right? We know that like we know. But it's good to just evaluate and say, okay, and then realize I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna commit, like Shelby said, I'm gonna commit to the three people. Okay. Now, the other thing this week you're gonna do, and I don't care which day you do it, you're gonna set up and lock in your pop-up for the month if you haven't. Now, if you're like, whoa, like I cannot do that, I'm newer, I feel like whatever you have feelings about it, all I want you to do is, and I don't want you to sell yourself short. So if you're like, I need to do the pop-up, I want to grow, this is important for me, like I need to step out of my comfort zone. If you're in that type of thing, like I know I need to do this, so I'm going to do it. I want you to do the thing and do the do, right? And like, and please reach out to me if you need help, if you need guidance, I will help you. I'm not an expert, but I just did one and it was very successful. And I can share what I did and any feedback I have or perspective on that. However, if you feel like that is not manageable for you this month, I want you to find two people, two to three people somehow where you're going to be connected to two to three people in an event, in a social gathering, in a whatever. And I want you to have a sample pack ready for them. It could be a pain cream and a jelly. It could be an unwind only. I don't care. But you're going to present this to them and you don't have to do anything major or nothing fancy, but you just want them to try it because it's helped you so much and you know that they might need support, right? Okay, so that's really manageable. If you can't do a full-on pop-up, that's pretty much a pop-up. Okay? I shared this on the call last night, but I want to share it. I am not good at bringing samples with me places. I do not know why. Why do I not have a couple sample packs in my console? It's real simple. Okay. And I don't do that. I went away this weekend to a softball tournament and we stayed in a hotel. And of course, there's other softball moms. Now, some of them are already my customers, but a few of them aren't. And I took all my stuff and we had a little gathering in the room, me and two other moms, and they both bought on the spot. They bought the Father's Day bundle. I gave them samples. Pain cream sold, really sold the one. And so keep it simple, but do it. Okay. Trust me on this. Just do this once a month, and you're creating so much more leeway. Is that the word I want to use? Way. You're creating a way for yourself by doing that. Okay. So Wednesday, okay, we're starting tomorrow on this for sure. Okay. If we don't do anything tonight, feel free to do something tonight to just add to it. But tomorrow, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do our three, of course, and we're going to post what this business or what these products mean to you. That could be whatever you want. I mean, that's just what I thought of. It's like, what does it mean to you in business or products? What is this whole thing? What is this whole mission? Whatever does this mean to you? If this feels hard to you and you're like, ooh, I haven't done a post yet, or I'm not good at this, please reach out to me or your upline because I want to help you share your story. Because if we aren't telling people about this, about why it's different, about the life-changing products and testimonies, about our own personal story, they're not going to know what we do and why they would want to even do it. Right? So that's so simple. Tomorrow you're going to do the post and you're going to do your three. If you do anything extra, great. That's awesome. I'm proud of you. And you should be proud of yourself for just doing that minimal amount. But if you do anything extra, that's amazing. All right, Thursday, three people. You already have that wrote down, but I'm just reiterating it. And then on your stories, I want you to share. And again, you do not have to, this isn't the Holy Grail. You don't have to do what I'm saying, but you understand where we're going. And this is giving you basically just like a do this and you don't have to think about it. Share unwind or broad or full jellies. Share one of those that you feel like is making the most difference in your life right now. Because it's really simple. Like I do this every night, or this is when I take this, or this shuts my brain off, or I stop drinking. So this is what I use now. And I don't wake up hungover and etc. Right? Whatever your story is. Friday, three people. And then I want you to do a poll. This is just an idea, but this is something I feel like is smart to gauge. Do a poll asking your audience what $500 a month would help them with. And do like a poll of like, what would it help them with? Groceries? Would it help them with a car payment? Would it help them with vacation fund? Would it help them with just bills? Um, and you can also in that story incorporate a slide maybe before that or after that saying like what $500 a month has helped you with. Doesn't have to be like, I'm a Green Compass advocate and this is blah, blah, blah. Like you could literally just say like, $500 a month has helped me so much in X, Y, and Z, right? Because that's a connection to your audience on what like they can feel through you on what they might need help with. All right, Saturday. I just said sample Saturday. Who do you know local that would try a sample? Like, just think about it. On Saturday, Who is local to you, not far? You don't have to make a huge deal, go massively out of your way. And of course, if this works better on Friday, do it on Friday. But who could you give a sample to? I always say, like, let's not sample ourselves to death because it is expensive. And I don't just like hand them out like candy. But it's like you are growing a business. Maybe you have a business card. You can put that in there with it. Maybe you have a friend. Maybe you have a neighbor. Maybe you're like, there's so many people that we aren't presenting this to. So, who could you share it with? And you're also going to have three conversations that day too. And Sunday, you're going to make sure your pop-up is locked in and you're going to talk to three people. You've had all week to lock a pop up in some sort of a gathering, some sort of a I'm already going to be here. I'm already going to be at this whatever. I'm going to bring these samples because it's maybe you never know when it's going to come up. I shared this the other day, but I ran into a girl at Six Flags that I haven't talked to in years. And she was like, "What are you doing now? Are you still with Beachbody?" I'm like, "No." That's been a few years. And then she literally asked what I was doing, and I told her, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm scared to take stuff like that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I understand. Like, here's why you don't need to be scared of this." And I educated her, and it was like, send me the information, and I sent it to her that next day, and she ordered like on the spot. I didn't have a sample with me, but like you just don't know like how many people are gonna need this. Okay, um, and then on Sunday, you're also going to do a story of your lineup, like just a story of your daily lineup, right? Like, what do you use for immune? Like, for me, I'm a digestive jelly, immune jelly, CBDA every single day. That's me. I use full spectrum half the time and collagen. But those three are my daily, like, I'm not going to not have these. Okay. And why is that important to you, to them? To you so that they can connect with that. Um, and then one more thing, somewhere within the week, I would encourage you guys to ask your audience or be mindful, be thinking of who you know. And I'm going to ask on my stories, who do I know in Chicago, Birmingham, Houston, Austin, Charlotte, San Diego? I know you can't write this fast, or Raleigh, sorry. I didn't know. I was like, I said it yesterday. You were probably like, okay, Raleigh. Well, it kind of looks like Raleigh. But anyhow, okay, in Raleigh. So with Paint the Nation Green, you're going to use these events because these events are working for you, right? And if we don't use them, then we're just like we're literally doing ourselves a big disadvantage. And I understand that not everyone knows people, but like I can't keep track of where my customers are from, who my Facebook friends are, where they're located. I have no idea, right? Where 90% of them probably live if I were to go through. Although you and Kevin are the only ones I've ever heard. Okay, see, and maybe I'm an idiot. All right, Kevin, fist pump. Um, so because like if we just, I don't know. I'm excited to ask who knows, like who do I know in these whatever cities, right? Because this is a perfect these events are going to be done very nicely. Um, okay. So with all of that being said, I want to share Raleigh. Okay, I'm going to be saying that over and over again so I don't mess it up again. Okay, I got this. Um, so I want to share in the chat, um, there's a tracker that, hold on, I'm going to put this in the chat in like a minute here if I can get to it. There's a tracker, Green Compass shared it last night on the team, or on the family circle call. Um, we have several trackers. We've shared them. I understand that like they're one and the same a lot of times, but I think it's nice to have options so that you can. Is this it? There's a cat outside my door. Someone must have let my cat in. Okay, let me see if this is right. Okay, I just shared it in our non-tox thread. Is that right? Is that the one from last night? Someone look. So many things pulled up, I can't find it. Oh my God. I think that's it. Yeah. Does that say Green Compass Daily Activity Tracker? Right. Okay. So I felt like this tracker was nice because it's just like I need a simple tracker, something where I don't like look at it and I'm like, okay, now I'm not going to work at all today. So I liked this one because it has your personal development, which I didn't even talk about. And this is huge and this is important. And I don't talk about it enough. But if you're struggling with mindset, if you're not feeding yourself, surrounding yourself with some kind of a podcast or you know, I can do all the things, or I am, strong, or I'm capable, or whatever the case is. And if you need recommendations, like we can give you some. But that's a great thing to just be like, okay, you walked today, and while you walked, you did some kind of podcast. While you did dishes and loaded the dishwasher, you did a podcast. It's really simple. And then the reach outs, and then of course social media and the follow-ups and the other reach outs, I guess. One's customer relationships. Yeah, okay, consistent check-ins with your customers. And then new. And this kind of helps you differentiate because if we're constantly following up with the same people, we're not going to get a different result typically, right? Follow-ups are great and we want to continue doing those, but if we're not continuously reaching out to new people, we're not going to reach that. So I really liked it. Um, and there's something else that I'm going to share too. And I don't know, again, this is just a similar thing that I found in the back office. If you go to resources, there's actually, I don't visit, this is like the power of 30. Let me find it. I don't visit this enough. Um, the back office where the resources are. Oh, shoot, I can't find it. I'll have to do it after I'm off of here. Dang it.
It's resources, then advocate training, and then new advocate, and all the way at the bottom. It's the Power 30 how-to guide.
I have it downloaded on my computer, but why Power 30? Yeah, so it's like, and I'll send it here in a minute if I can get like
My
off my
computer will
computer.
not download right now.
But it's like mindset 1 minute, like create and recite an I am statement, focus 3 minutes. What would make the most impact in my business today or this week? And sometimes, and that's really good because if we take 3 minutes to gather, instead of being like, I can't do all this and this is so much and whatever, if we take like 2 to 3 minutes to get ourselves centered on like, okay, what is the most important? Sometimes I just literally tell myself, okay, Tabitha, like you can do this. I tell myself this all the time. And it's like the one thing, and I'm like, okay, just do the one thing that you need to do. And nothing else matters right now. It's just the one thing. And for you on a daily basis, and for me and us to build this business, it's going to be the three conversations, like hands down. That's going to be the most important thing. You can post all day long. If you're not having the three conversations a day, I mean, unless you have 100,000 followers, you won't get the result that you're looking for. Reach outs, 5 minutes of those. Phone calls, text, messenger, email, customer care, spend 5 minutes checking in, following up. It says water the seeds. So 5 minutes of following up with those that you've started a conversation with. Social media engagement, 5 minutes. Social media content, 5 minutes. So post something or maybe do a story and then a shout out, give a teammate or a customer like a shout out. um, so that's just another way if that helps your brain instead of looking at a sheet and you're like, okay, I'd rather just set a timer and be intentional for 5 minutes and then move on to the next thing. Um, Understand that like you can do whatever you want. This is literally like just I feel like this is simple, it's achievable. And I understand that like every single week on Wednesday and whatever day, you're not going to do the same post, right? You're going to need new things. But I want you to get in the habit, and I want myself to continue to be in the habit of doing the 2 to 3 things a day and keeping it simple, right? And then maybe next week, it's like you're going to share another layer, like, another layer of your story, another personal thing that you're going to put out there, maybe a client's testimonial. Like I still have the video that Laura McClendon shared of her mother. She didn't say it was her mother on social media, but it was her mother's trimmers that she has because of Parkinson's. And in 30 minutes, the trimmer stopped. You know how many people I had when I shared that? This wasn't my mom. I've never met Laura's mother, but she's a good friend of mine and I knew, and she allowed us to share it. But my point in saying that is like someone else's testimony is going to touch someone else in need. And I'm going to tell you right now that there are so many people in need. They're in need for connection. That's huge. Just connection. You all know that if you've been around very long, we know the bond that we have and we know the connection and community that we have here. And it's awesome and special. And then, so people need that. So as we're looking to enroll someone, if you're constantly focusing on products and you're not intentionally being like, okay, I'm taking 5 minutes today to tell someone about this business. And don't be afraid. Don't discount someone you're talking to about products and say to them, you know what? And I would love to share this business with you because you can literally get a 50% off, like you can get 50% off on a kit on your own product, and then you're already enrolled. And then if you love these products, like I know you're going to already be enrolled to be able to share this. How often do we scramble to get PCs or we're feeling desperate to just get the order and we just want them. We just are like, okay, we're not gonna push the envelope because we're just like, we're just gonna get them right now. We just like, they just want product. We don't know that. Did we ask them? Did we talk about the opportunity? And so I want you guys, and I understand if you're newer, like you're just wanting to get your feet wet, I get it. Like just get into action, but we can't grow our business and we can't bring people into this community if they don't understand what we do here and how impactful it is and all the things, right? Um, so with that being said, I feel very confident in the fact that if you do these tasks that I shared tonight and you sort of map out your week each week with something like this approach and you build on it, right? You just kind of build like, okay, now I have a couple more clients. Now I have a couple more people to reach out to when there's a sale. Okay, now I've done a couple of these pop-ups and now I have some more like you see how this is just going to compound and then it's just like it's going to be a no-brainer. You are going to make $500 to $1,000 and more if you want it to be that, if that's what you want it to be. Um, so I think that was all I had for tonight. Um, I'm really excited for, oh, and the one thing that I didn't mention is there is some thing coming, and I can't tell you. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying that. But there's something coming, and some of you are gonna die. And you are going to want to be plugged in to share this because it's when the new products launch where you've covered all this ground with people, you've shared, they know that you do Green Compass. Like people know I do Green Compass if they're friends with me on social media, right? There's no doubt about it that I share it, that I talk about it, that I shout it from the rooftops, right? Exactly. Fill those funnels. Because when the new product launches, and then you're like, I didn't really get anybody on the new product, but do they know about your story? Do they know what the products are doing? Do they know, like, why would they want to, right? If this is the first time they're hearing about it, they don't know what you've got to offer, really. They don't really feel anything. Um, and we want people to feel something. We want people to feel like, we always say hope in the hemp. But it's like we want people to feel the excitement and the community and the connection and the healing that we have within our products. And it's up to us to deliver that. And if you don't feel capable of doing that, and I know every single one of you is capable, I promise, just start with the one thing. And as you continue to build on this and expand and gain confidence, you're going to be reminded, and I'm reminded all the time. And I shared this yesterday on the family circle call. about the fact that I had this mindset block around pop-ups because I was like, I live in town, a small town, 1,000 people. Like I know everybody. If they've wanted to buy it, they've bought it. They're friends with me on Facebook. Like people just probably don't want to come to my event. Okay. And I had this whole thing around it and I share about that on the call last night. And it was such a lie. And I had 13 people at my event. I've been doing this for 2 years in a small town and I had 13 people come to my event. And so I just want to invite you to erase any story that you have about what you can't do and if you aren't this or you whatever, right? And I want you to just lock it in and do the thing and be proud of yourself and watch the impact that you're going to make and the people that are going to be like I've had a couple people reach out just this week that I've never talked to and they're like, "Hey, I'm struggling. Can you please, tell me about your product?" Because the people that don't need this right now are going to need it in 6 months. I guarantee it. And if it's not in 6 months, it's in a year. And I hate to say that because I don't want people to struggle. But my point is that, like, just because they aren't ready now, it's going to depend on you and your consistency. Because if you fall off for 6 months, they don't know what you're doing and they don't see your stuff and you weren't loud enough and you didn't share it enough and you weren't consistent enough to where they even knew that they could reach out to you because you were an open door and you had a storefront and we don't have one, but we have a storefront right in our um and I saw this reel. Actually, Meredith Cook sent me a reel last night after the call, and it was this girl who she's from doTERRA and she had, and maybe you guys have seen this reel and I didn't follow this girl, but she had two protein mixes. One was doTERRA and one was some other brand. Okay. She's like, the only difference between these is one's cleaner. doTERRA's is cleaner, she said. And then the other one is sweeter. My kids like this one. It's not as clean, but here's the doTERRA one. And I like it because it's cleaner. You want to know the only difference between this? They're marketed the same, the exact same. Somebody with this is just an average company, this protein mix is an average company. They're marketing it, they're getting paid a percentage of what you per of the money that you put into this protein mix is getting paid to a marketing company. The difference is this protein mix the income goes to someone like me, a human, right? And so I don't know why I shared that, but it's just the fact that like if you're in your head about sharing and selling, this is the era of selling. And everybody's doing it, and they're either going to buy it from you or they're going to buy it from someone else, and they're going to buy garbage CBD and they're going to buy some other brand. And I don't want to name names, but I could. And they're not going to get the quality, and they potentially, and there's one floating around that influencers are promoting, and it's giving weird side effects. Okay. And they're paying their influencers good. And these people are shifting to this brand. And some of you probably know what that is. So anyway, my point is that they're not going to understand the difference between what we have to offer. And as things continue to expand with the laws and the what restrictions and whatever, we are so far ahead of any company out there. And it's such an honor to be with this company and have no doubt about the fact that like we're not shutting our doors. We are very financially stable. Like we have so much room for growth and there's so much new stuff coming. So I could go on and on, but I hope that that gives you guys excitement and fire. And it also makes it feel doable, right? Because we're all so busy. I truly get it, but you're not busier than the next one of us. And it's just a matter of biting off pieces that are chewable. Yes. And I've talked about this before, but if we relaunched our business every single month and I could tell myself the same exact thing, if we started each month or started each day or started each recommit, like here we are maybe recommitting in your business. If you started today like you did the first day you started with your excitement and being like, listen, why am I not telling this? Why am I not, I said share the good news. I've been saying that. Like, I feel like we get to share the good news. And this is good news. And if we're not sharing it, then we're just we're doing a disservice to humanity. So thank you all so much. I would love to hear, any goals if you guys want to message me. And Yes, prejudging. I've prejudged people so many times. One particular person was someone that I met with this weekend at the softball event, and I had this idea in my head, and our kids are the same age, and I don't know why I got this weird vibe, and I was like thinking, I bet she feels weird about like what I'm doing. I don't know. Anyways, so there's so many, and she bought, and she's like all about like she was like, okay, I'll try it. Hell yeah, bring your gummies, you know? And I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, it's just wild. And you have to remember too that as we're evolving as humans and business owners, other humans are evolving too, right? They're on the other side of our phone, evolving, understanding that there's BS in products and they're garbage and all the things that we know, right? And they're looking for holistic ways. And so as they're evolving, you get to be that person to be like, here's the gap. Like I'm giving you the gap. And that's really awesome. So okay, thank you all so much. I love you all, and I'm so grateful for what we're doing here and um, everything that's coming up. And please reach out because I never want anyone to feel like, there. I told Michelle this earlier, but I think sometimes we are just busy and we're trying to do our own to-do list and working, and we sometimes feel like we're on an island by ourselves. And I know we don't feel that. I mean, I know we feel community here, but I still sometimes think we can do that to ourselves. And so I want you guys to reach out if you need anything because you're not alone. Okay, yes, let's do it. All right, here we go. Next week is the CBD. Let me think about this. Next week's the opportunity call. Last week is CBD 101. So we have those two things coming up. We have the event in Chicago next week and then some other events. Um, so, all right. All right, we'll talk soon. Love you guys. Bye.